Hi, I'm Michael Marin, President and CEO of Holy Name Medical Center. At Holy Name, we believe that all citizens need to be informed about the healthcare issues that affect their lives. That's why we're proud to support important healthcare programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Holy Name Medical Center. This place is different. The Russell Berry Foundation. Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey. Summit Medical Group, a multi-specialty medical practice providing comprehensive care from birth and pediatrics to geriatric care, concentrating in general wellness, cancer treatment, disease management, and behavioral health. The Northward Center. Adler Aphasia Center, helping stroke and brain injury survivors recover their speech. And by NJ Best, New Jersey's 529 College Savings Plan. Promotional support provided by Insider NJ. And by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association.
This is One-on-One.
I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that. Life without dance is boring.
I don't care how good you are or how good you think you are, there is always something to learn.
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No.
People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
That's a good question. High five.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato here on location at Kessler Foundation. Folks behind me, you see them, they're gathered for a forum we're doing tonight. I'll be moderating. It's called Transforming Care and Recovery for People with Spinal Cord Injuries. It's put on by the Center for Spinal Stimulation. For the next half hour, you'll hear from researchers with the center, research participants, all of whom have had serious spinal cord injuries. They'll talk about the actual research they're involved in, how it's changed their lives, how their lives have been improved, and what it means to you watching right now, why you need to know about this. It is the most incredibly innovative research you'll ever see that deals with people who have very serious injuries and just want to do what you and I do. Pick up a ball, throw to your kid, walk, pick up a glass. All of that will be demonstrated in the panel discussion tonight, but you're about to hear from those research participants and the researchers in this very special program. We're welcomed by our good friend. We've talked to you many times before on public broadcasting. Dr. Gail Forrest is Director, Center for Spinal Stimulation at Kessler Foundation. Good to see you, Doctor.
Good to see you.
Tell folks what this center is all about and why it matters so much.
So, in a nutshell, the center's about stimulating the cord, either with an implantable electrode or stimulating the cord on the surface of the skin, on the outside. So you have two types. You've got epidural stimulation.
Let's go slow here. You got epidural stimulation,
which is implanting electrodes in the lower part of the spinal cord.
Sure.
And then you've got the transcutaneous, which is stimulating the cord on the superficial part, on the outside of the skin, both for recovery of hand function, arm function, trunk function, and leg function, lower limb function.
Does the type of spinal cord injury someone has dictate the kind of treatment or the kind of research they could and should be involved in?
The answer to your question requires us to do a lot more research. But you will see their restoration, and it's all about restoring their ability, their hand function, their arm function, or their ability to walk over ground, whether it be we're using transcutaneous stimulation, or whether it be with epidural stimulation.
The folks who will be joining us, beyond the science, beyond the research, beyond the medical piece to this complex equation, their lives were changed dramatically, altered dramatically because of these injuries. If this were 10, 15 years ago, what would their chance of regaining some of the functions that we're talking about today be? I know it's a long-winded question, but I've been thinking about this.
The knowledge that we have now to be doing what we are doing now, and I was doing spinal cord research 10 years ago. You and I spoke.
Sure.
I didn't have that knowledge base back then to be able to do that. So the development to where we are now is very dramatic.
How exciting is that?
Oh, it's unbelievably exciting. One could argue that we are changing people's lives. It's beyond an intervention, it's changing lives.
So many important things going on at the Center for Spinal Stimulation at the Kessler Foundation. Dr. Gail Forrest, as always, we learn when we talk to you, listen to you, and we wish you and your colleagues all the best in the very important work you're doing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Welcome, folks. I'm Steve Adubato. We're at Kessler Foundation. It's a historic night, important night. By the way, this is Rodger, DeRose, the president and CEO of Kessler Foundation. Why don't you tell folks, instead of me telling them, Rodger, you tell them why all these people are here tonight for this important panel discussion.
So tonight, Steve, is all about working in the area of spinal cord injury and some breakthrough technology and intervention work that we have been doing now for some time, working with the University of Louisville as well as UCLA. And it really has to do with how we're going to treat patients, and it'll become the standard of care in the future. But right now, it's in the research mode. And we're doing spinal stimulation through epidural stimulation implants and transcutaneous on the exterior of the spinal cord column. So, you know, this is just one area, as you know, Steve, that we focus on. We focus on brain injury and stroke and multiple sclerosis. We're experts in robotics for people with mobility issues. But tonight is all about this breakthrough technology and intervention that we're involved in.
And more specifically, folks, I'm going to be moderating a panel discussion. I get the honor to do that every year at the foundation. But it's in connection with the Center for Spinal Stimulation.
Right.
That wasn't in existence a few years ago.
No, actually, the Center for Spinal Stimulation, our board of trustees, gave us approval to move forward on this in March of 2018. And so this is a ramp up to that. We're putting in a new building that will be state-of-the-art for the Center for Spinal Stimulation at the Kessler Hospital campus in West Orange. It'll have all of the lab space that our researchers need, in addition to the latest state-of-the-art equipment as well, Steve. So it'll be a place where patients will come from all over the world to be treated.
Now, this crowd of about 150, I'm told, who are most of these people and why are they here?
Yeah, these would be individuals that have an interest in the work we do, but are also potentially interested in making donations to fund the type of research that we do at the foundation. So I think tonight is all about showing them the intervention, having them watch what it is for a person with a spinal cord injury to be able to walk again.
Sure.
With stimulation. And that is really a demonstrable demonstration when you're showing somebody that technique.
You know, I've said this before on the air, I'll say it again. I've also had the privilege of doing some leadership development and communication coaching here at the foundation for some of the researchers, the scientists. And what I'm struck by, and I'm going to talk to Rodger about this, is who are these people that have such dedication, such a commitment to helping people with all kinds of injuries, head injuries often, but in this case, spinal cord injuries. But what is it that you see in them beyond their expertise and their intellectual ability? Is there something else?
Yeah, you know, when you interview people, Steve, and you know this from your business and all of the experience you've had, you know, they have certain skill sets, right? Those are the qualifications.
They're technically very good.
Right? Yeah, technically very good. But these are individuals that show a passion. You know, they show an emotional commitment to really want to be committed to the mission of the organization, the broader goal of the organization. And for us, that's all about helping people with disabilities and change their life, make their life better with the conditions that they have to live with.
It's important work being done every day here. Check it out. We're honored to be joined by Mr. Jimmy Brown, the what? Third, fourth?
Third.
And who's the fourth?
Jimmy Brown, the fourth, is my son.
Beautiful. From Staten Island. You're a research participant, the Center for Spinal Stimulation at Kessler Foundation. Jimmy, great to have you with us.
Thank you.
First of all, the fact that you're participating tonight in this forum is a big deal.
Very.
Tell folks in 2004 how your life changed.
In 2004, I was 24 years old. I went down the shore, and unfortunately, I dove into a shallow bay and broke my neck, and changed life quite a bit. I was athletic. I played sports my whole life. I went to St. Peter's in Jersey City. I played baseball. So not being able to participate in sports and my leisure activities was quite dramatic.
Your family, you got a boy and a girl?
Boy and a girl.
Ages?
2 and 5.
So Jim, let's do this. We talk about being a research participant, but break down for people, like, what does that mean? Like, what kind of research are we talking about at the foundation?
So I've done the exoskeleton, which is walking in the robot. I've done the TRT study, which is you get some testosterone gel and you put that on your shoulders every day for 6 months. And now I'm doing the stimulation of the spine. I actually have it on the back of my neck now.
Okay,
it's not activated, but it's lined up for later.
I'm sorry for interrupting, Jim. Is that the transcutaneous?
Correct.
Transcutaneous stimulation, let's get this, folks. It's a non-invasive treatment, applies an electrical current to the skin, overlying the spinal cord to promote voluntary muscle firing and independent movement. Well, that's a little jargony. Break that down.
So I've done some stimulation before in the past where they basically put the stim pads right on your muscles and it automatically moves your muscles for you. This, I believe, goes slightly below where the stimulation is doing it for you. It's voluntarily,
right.
But it's very interesting stuff. I've noticed pretty good gains. You may not see dramatic gains from the naked eye, but what I feel is something that is very hard to put in words. Listen, 5% gain for you might not be something to the naked eye, but 5% in my lifestyle is tremendous.
Yeah, let's talk about that 5%, because one of the things Jim's going to do in the panel that I'll be moderating, that he'll be a part of, help us understand this. You're going to hold a glass. Don't take it from me. You do it. What are you going to do?
So basically, they're going to put water in a glass, and I have to pick the glass up and fill a cup with water. Seems like a rather simple task, but something that I cannot do right now independently without the stim. Cannot pick the glass up enough to get it to turn and put water in a cup is something that with the stim on, I can lift up and turn and pour the water in a cup. It is, and like I said, what I can feel in my hand, the grip strength, the amount of, the power that you can put into them fingers, that little bit of gain where I can't do it without it, putting the stimulation on and pouring the water in the cup, that little bit that it gives you allows, and when you convert that, I mean, that's just water in a cup today, and you put that into perspective in life, it's...
What could that mean? What does that mean to you? Forget about the clinical research stuff, the medicine, the medical piece. What does it mean to you personally?
My son throws a ball at me right now. The fact that I could just grab that little ball and throw it back to him, it brings a tear to your eye.
Hey, Jimmy, listen. We appreciate you coming over from the island, from Staten Island, to be with us. We can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
We wish you all good things. We thank you for being a part of this conversation, because we could talk about it. I could talk to clinicians, researchers, but it's only people like you who are actually participating who can tell us what really is going on. So I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back after this.
To watch more One-on-One with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
Steve Adubato here at Kessler Foundation. We're pleased to introduce Dr. Stephen Kirshblum, who is Chief Medical Officer and Co-Director, Center for Spinal Stimulation at Kessler Foundation. Doctor, the folks are here tonight behind us. They're going to be part of the audience in a very important panel discussion that is called Transforming Care and Recovery for People with Spinal Cord Injuries. Why is this discussion, the research going on for people with spinal cord injuries, so incredibly groundbreaking?
So I think we're seeing a potential paradigm shift in the way that we can care for people with spinal cord injury. And what's so unique about this is that in the recent past, there's been a lot of possible treatments for people with acute spinal cord injury, or people that will have a spinal cord injury in the future. This is a potential treatment for people who have already had a spinal cord injury. And this is a major change, because now we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people in the United States and millions across the world. And if we look at some of the early results of the few patients that have undergone some of these treatments, the results are truly amazing.
There are two types of stimulation that I want to play out. One is transcutaneous stimulation, then we'll talk about epidural stimulation, two very important parts of the research going on in the studies. Go ahead.
So it's important to understand the difference between the two. They're both spinal stimulation. One, the epidural, is a surgical implanted stimulator.
Inside?
Inside the body. The components are inside, and it stimulates directly onto the spinal cord and the nerve roots itself. In transcutaneous stimulation, there isn't surgery that's needed, so the stimulation is on the outside of the body. And tonight you'll see that in two of the patients, one who's getting both who are being stimulated in their upper part of their spinal cord, one who's improved their ability to move their arms and their hands, and the other where it's improved their ability to walk. Both are truly amazing type of technology because it enhances how the nerves function. Think of it this way. It's a constant and continuous jump starting of the nerves. Think of it of a battery that's losing its charge on a consistent basis, and you're continuing to charge it. After a spinal cord injury, the person loses the ability for the spinal cord to be automatic and function on its own. With this type of stimulation, whether it be the transcutaneous or the epidural, and there are differences between them, it charges the spinal cord. It allows the spinal cord to do the activities that it's meant to do on a more automatic basis. We're talking about so much more than just being able to hold a bottle or take a step. It's being involved with your family, your loved ones, your community, and that makes all the difference in the world.
It's priceless.
Absolutely.
Thank you, doctor.
Pleasure.
That's Kelly Thomas, barrel racing in a rodeo. The Florida native was an active teenager riding horses, playing soccer, and working on the family farm. Then, disaster. July 2014. A car accident left Kelly paralyzed in a wheelchair, with her doctors saying she would never walk again.
Steve Adubato on location at Kessler Foundation. We're here for a very important forum, a discussion. It's called Transforming Care and Recovery for People with Spinal Cord Injury. And we're honored to be joined by one of the research participants here tonight. By the way, excuse the sound behind us. A lot of people want to be a part of this conversation. They want to listen and participate, so just bear with us. But Kelly Thomas is a research participant. Kelly, in 2014, you were involved in a car accident.
I was.
Talk about the injuries.
Well, I have a C7 T1 spinal cord injury. It's incomplete, so I have sensation, but I didn't have any motor. So my accident was a rollover motor vehicle accident. I ran off the shoulder of the road, flipped my vehicle 4 times, and was hanging half in, half out of the vehicle whenever, thank God, a retired paramedic was walking his dog down the street and saved my life.
You know, we were talking right before we got on the air, and I asked Kelly about being a research participant. And you're going to demonstrate something tonight, a very important movement that was not possible how long ago?
5 years this year.
And by the way, Kelly's a part of, she's involved with epidural stimulation.
Yes.
And before I go back to how tough it was to make the decision to actually be a participant, explain to folks what epidural stimulation is.
So what the epidural stimulator is it's a spinal implant, and the spinal electrode lays in my lower lumbar spine, and I have a battery that's actually implanted in my lower abdomen, my lower left abdomen, and it has all the data in it that has different configurations that helps me facilitate movement. So many people have this epidural stimulator. It's a Medtronic device, and people use it for pain all the time, to block the signals of pain, and I use it for movement.
How much has it changed your life?
Dramatically.
How so?
Dramatically. Whenever I suffered my spinal cord injury, I asked my neurosurgeon, eye to eye, I said, what are my chances of ever walking again? And he said, I won't say 0, but maybe 1 or 2%. And I said, okay, I'll be your 1 or 2%. And I worked and worked as hard as I possibly could. And I had made progress, but I kind of hit a plateau, hit a wall, and I needed something more, and this epidural stimulator was available. And I moved to Kentucky for 1.5 years, and I did what I was told I would never do again. And so now I'm able to go out into the community and walk, and it's fantastic being eye level with other people.
We are honored to have you with us tonight.
Thank
Honored
you.
to listen to you share your experience, and we look forward to, most importantly, your continued progress and success. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are honored to be joined by the chairman of the Board of Trustees here at Kessler Foundation, Dr. Alexander Giaquinto.
Yes, thank you, Steve.
Chairman of the board. Why is this such a big deal tonight, and the work of the center?
It's new. It's something that's never been done before. Getting people with spinal cord injury to be at this type of development where they have back movement and then possibly can be walking again, that's a phenomenal response.
And that's the Center for Spinal Cord Research, right? That wasn't always in existence.
No.
And so it takes money, it takes people power,
yes.
And you and your colleagues on the board, why were you so excited about this center?
This is totally new, yes. There's nothing like this has ever been done before.
In the country?
In the country that I know of. There are centers in the country where we're setting up affiliations with, which are going to be working with us on this, and they have done some of the research, but nobody's so far advanced yet that we're not still in on the bottom floor.
What do you think it says about the research participants who are part of this, who are trying to regain some of the movement, the things they couldn't do before, hold a glass, move just a few feet?
Yeah.
How does it say about them?
It's very hard, I guess, to put ourselves into the aspect of a person who has no movement at this time.
Right.
And where they're confined to wheelchairs and only maybe to twitch, move their face to get movement out of a wheelchair. When you talk to them and say, we're going to be able to tell you, you'll be moving your arms, your hands, your feet, their faces are like globes. They just light right up.
How rewarding for you?
I'm so happy to be involved right now in this activity where I'm chairman of the board when this is taking place. It's just elating to be able to say I'm involved in this.
Doctor, we thank you for joining us. We thank you for you and your colleagues having us here, and we wish you and the foundation all good things.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
We're honored to be joined by this young lady next to me, Natalie Barrett, who is a research participant at the Center for Spinal Stimulation at Kessler Foundation. Good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's get this clear. Your family's from
Jamaica,
but you're born and raised in
East Orange, New Jersey.
And we are honored to have you with us tonight.
Thank you so much.
You're going to be participating in a panel discussion.
Yes.
A research participant. In 2015,
yes.
Describe for folks what changed your life.
Well, I was leaving the airport, at Newark Airport, and someone hit me from behind. They kept going, and the airbag broke my neck. So my level of injury is C6, C7. I was gone for 3 days, and then God said, no, I'm not ready for you, and he brought me back, and he also allowed me to have use of my legs again. So it changed my life, forever altered my life, but I take away the blessings that came along with it. I'm here.
You always had that faith?
Yes.
The other thing you're doing is you're actively participating in this research.
Yes.
Describe for folks exactly which, because I know there are a few different forms of research and treatment, so talk about it.
They put electrodes on my parts, on parts of me. I have them on now, my back up top where my injury level is, also down lower and over around here as well. And what it does is it feels like a car engine, like it's revving you up. It revs you up, the stimulator, to enable you to Even though I'm walking, it strengthens the walking. Everything is stronger.
In the panel discussion, you're going to be doing, I'm told that you're going to do something.
I'm going to be walking with canes. The exoskeleton has allowed me to strengthen so much to where I can, slowly but surely, I can walk with canes, just 2 of them, and I'm going to demonstrate that today.
2 years ago, a year ago, could you do it?
No, not at all.
It's because you're participating in this.
Only because I'm participating.
And because you're working hard.
Very, very hard.
And you got a lot of faith.
Lots of faith.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you for having me.
All the best.
Thank you.
Okay.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 30 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Holy Name Medical Center, the Russell Berry Foundation, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Summit Medical Group, the Northward Center, Adler Aphasia Center, and by NJ Best. Promotional support provided by Insider NJ and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
When it comes to you and your family's health care, transparency is key. At Holy Name Medical Center, we believe in creating an environment where patients can be educated and informed so they can get the most out of their health care. As New Jersey's healthcare industry continues to evolve and change, Holy Name remains committed to providing patients with high-quality, accessible, and affordable health care.